Hi guys, welcome to this lesson. I'm just starting off the live stream for today, and this is the fourth lesson in this series. And as you know, we are discussing the CAT 2018 paper in this series of videos, right? So. Before I start off, just a small piece of information I would like to share with you, and that is about the Unacademy Plus subscription, where uh, the new subscription model on Unacademy Plus has been launched. And the great thing about the Unacademy Plus subscription model is that once you subscribe to the Plus model, to the Plus subscription model, what you get is you get all live and structured courses with all educators, all top educators who are on Unacademy Plus will be bringing their courses to you throughout the year. And once you subscribe, and you can take a 1 month subscription, a 6 month subscription, or a 1 year subscription. You have got 1 month, 6 months, and 12 month subscriptions available. So whichever you decide to choose, you will get access to all the lessons by all top educators, and you don't just get access to them for a brief time. You can of course do them live, but the great thing is that you get access to those lessons for 2 years after your after your course is completed, right? So if you do a course in February 2019, if you do your course in February, yeah, that's Arun Sharma, the book author. That's me. So if you have done your course in February 2019, you get access to the videos of that till 2021 February, and that's the great part about the Unacademy Plus subscription. And there are weekly quizzes in every course, and there are separate doubt clearing sessions with all the top educators. Every fourth session, every course is a doubt clearing session, so you can't miss out, or you can't have any doubts left. And if you decide to get the subscription, if you do decide to get the subscription, you can, if you can, and you want a discount on that, you can use my promo code, and that my promo code is Arun M Sharma, and this will give you a 10% off on your Unacademy Plus subscription model, right? So this is something that you should understand as a very important uh, opportunity for you, right? So before I move on, as I said, you can actually get a 10% subscription discount if you use this promo code. So please use the promo code if you decide to take the subscription of Unacademy Plus. And the best part of this is that it's not just CAT, but also the UPSC, or you can actually prepare for the CAT or the civil services, that is the UPSC exam, or also the banking and SSC exam, etc. So you name the exam, you have an option to prepare for it, right? You have an option to prepare for it. So we are continuing. Let's start with the course, and some great top educators that you would find uh, would be including me. You also have people like Bharat Gupta, Himanshu Das, uh, and Patrick D'Souza, serial 100 percentiler, who's also on an academy. So just to start off this uh, feature or this lesson, I also want to talk to you about before I start off this lesson. Also want to talk to you about uh, why the CAT 2018 paper was a landmark paper for CAT preparation, and the reason for that is not very hard to find. You must have heard about this, and what you will hear is that CAT 2018 was important in the sense that because for every chapter, every concept, for every chapter, the kind of question that was asked was uh, essentially of that level. The kind of question that was asked was essentially of that level that if you start a chapter, when you do your first 100 to 150 questions, you do the straight question of the chapter, and then you start going through twists and turns and questions. And as you start going through twists and turns, you reach a point where when you completely master a chapter, that's when you get comfortable with a certain kind of question, with a certain level of question. So CAT 2018 was dominated by these kind of questions, and hence it's very important to for you to understand the CAT 2018 uh, the CAT 2018 prep process, or the questions and the learning from that, and why it's important is because it gives you the level you need to reach in every chapter when you're preparing for that chapter. It gives you a very, very strong insight into the level you need to reach for any chapter, right? So let's, without any further delay, let's start. I think we have done these initial questions here. So this was the last question we did yesterday. So this is the first question for you to try. Please try to do this question. This is question 15 of the this course. I've done questions 1 to 14 in the first three sessions. So I want you to try this question. I'm going to give you uh, a couple of minutes to try. Please try this question. I'm giving you a couple of minutes to do it. Right, so please try this question. So right, I hope you have tried that. So let's see what this question says. For two sets A and B, let A triangle B or A delta B denote the set of elements which belong to A or B but not both. And if P is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, so please remember A delta B is showing us the set of elements which belong to A or B but not both. Right? A or B but not both. So if there is an element in A which is not there in B, that will have to be counted. But if there's an element in both A and B, that should not be counted. So P is 1, 2, 3, 4, Q is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, R is 1, 3, 7, 8, 9, and S is 2, 4, 9, 10. So the question is asking us the number of elements in the expression P delta Q. Give me a second. Yeah, P delta Q delta R delta S. So what you need to do in this question then is first work out P delta Q. So what does P delta Q mean? So please remember we are talking about elements which belong to A or B but do not belong to both. So P delta Q, we have the intersection of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 2, 3, 5, 6. So if I look here, 2 does not belong to any one of them, it belongs to both. So it should not belong to both. So when I write P delta Q, in P delta Q, and we'll use the standard BODMAS rule to do this. First we'll do P delta Q, then we'll do R delta S, and then we'll do the delta between the brackets, right? So as I said, when we're doing P delta Q, we are trying to resolve this bracket for ourselves. So 2 is there in both, 3 is also there in both. So if I make P delta Q, that is the set 1, 4, 5, 6. Now, of course, inside the exam, you need to be very careful because even one small misinterpretation of one number is going to make this completely wrong. And that's what makes these questions tough. Otherwise, if you look at these questions, you realize that there's not much in them. So P delta Q gives us 1, 4, 5, 6. Then R delta S. Let's look at R delta S. Let's look at what R is giving us. So R is 1, 3, 7, 8, 9. This is R. S On the other hand is 2, 4, 9, 10. That is what S is, right? Now if I want to make the elements of R delta S, I should take numbers which are there in R but not in S, or numbers in S but not in R. So 1 belongs to only R, 2 belongs to only S. It will be better to look at this way in numerical order. 3 belongs to only R, 7 belongs to only R, 8 belongs to only R, and 9 belongs to both R and S. So 9 will not come in the picture. 10 belongs to only S. So we are doing 1, 2, 1, 4, 5, 6 delta 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 10. And now we need to do a delta again. So we are looking for numbers which are there in the blue list, not there in the red list, or numbers which are there in the red list and not there in the blue list. So if you look through, 1 is not to be taken because it's there in both lists. I should take 2. So if I'm making the final list of this, I should take 2. I should take 3. Consider it again in alphabet in numerical order. Do not consider it in non-numerical order. So I should take 2. I should take 3. I should take each of 4, 5, 6 because they're only there in this. I should take each of 4, 5, 6. And then I should take 7, 8, and 10. So obviously we don't need to write all this because the question is just asking us for the number of elements. And the number of elements is 3 elements here, 3 elements here, and 2 elements here. So total of 8 elements is the answer. And option 2 is the correct answer then. Right? So this is the correct answer to this question. So I hope you enjoyed that solution. Try this next question. Try this question. Yeah, that's me, Arun Sharma only, Nitesh and Shiva. So I hope you've tried this. So let's have a look at this question. A triangle ABC has length, has area. Hi Shubham, welcome to the session. Good to see you also around here. So triangle ABC has area 32 square units and its side BC of length 8 units lies on the line x equals 4. So obviously this is a question which is a mix of geometry and mensuration and trigonometry, sorry, and coordinate geometry. So the x equals 4 line is the line which is parallel to the y-axis. So first of all you should visualize that line. So the x equals 4 line will be parallel to the y-axis. And we need to put this line BC, which has a length of 8 units, on this line. So we should visualize at this point that we can put this BC anywhere in this vertical line. This line is an infinite line from positive infinity on the y-axis to the negative infinity on the y-axis and so on. This is the x equals 4 line. And then the shortest possible distance between and this is the ABC line, right? So if the base is 8, so if you think of the triangle ABC in this form, because the BC is on this vertical line, we can think of ABC in this form: a height of 8 or a base of 8 for this triangle. And if the base is 8 and the area is 32, that means the vertex should be at a distance of 8 units from the base, because the vertex to the base will show us the height of the triangle, right? So that means the height of the triangle is 8. That means the vertex should be on the x equals minus 4 line. somewhere. The point A on the vertex should be somewhere on the x equals -4 line. Now the question says that the shortest possible distance between A and the point 0, 0. So this becomes a no-brainer from this point, that if I want A to be at the shortest possible distance from the point 0, 0, which is the origin, I must put A on this point here. And that means that the distance between A and the origin, which is the point 0, 0, will have to be 4 units, and option 3 is the correct answer. Right? No issue, Shubham. You can leave. You can watch the video later. So this is how this question gets solved. Let's do the third one. Try this. Another interesting question from the CAT 2017 paper. Try this question. Interesting question again. So let's see what this question says. Try it for a minute. If you can get an answer to this, try to work it out. So let's see where the question takes us. Have you tried it? The question says, n and x are positive integers such that n raised to n is equal to 2 raised to 160. Now if n raised to n is 2 raised to 160, now you should stop at this point. You should try to make sense of what the question is saying. A lot of people, what they do is in maths, they have this habit of continuing on for the end of the question and then trying to see. But you know maths, in a maths, every question, every statement, every sub-statement has a reaction. So a better way to solve maths than the way you normally solve is to react at every point. So n raised to n is equal to 2 raised to 160. Now you should realize that this left hand side of this expression, n raised to n, basically means that we are talking about some number raised to itself. And since the right hand side is 2 raised to 160, which basically means 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, 160 times. since the right hand side is something like this, it basically means that that we are talking about a number which which has an equal number of 2's in the base, or a value of some power of 2 in the base and some power of 2 in the numerator, in the power. So if I try to restructure 2 raised to 160 into 4 raised to 80, I can see that I do not get a n raised to n kind of number. I'm not getting an n raised to n kind of number there. So I reject 4 raised to 4 raised to 80 as the value of n, or giving us the value of n, and I move this to 8 raised to 40. Now when I move to 8 raised to 40, again this is not a number in the form of, sorry, it's not 8 raised to 40. So 4 raised to 80 is basically 2 square raised to 80. Right, so this is fine. This is fine with respect to the structure. But when I take this as 2 cube raised to, it will become not 40, but it will become 53.33, because the rule of indices is that the product of the power outside the bracket and the power inside the bracket will be the power on the number. So the rule of indices to be used here is a raised to b whole raised to c is a raised to bc. So it's not working at this point. It should be a raised to bc. So a raised to b raised to c will be a raised to bc. So at this point anyway, 8 raised to 53.33 is again not a 9 raised to n number. So if you go to 16, 2 raised to 4, 2 raised to 4, now you need a 40 in the power, because 4 raised to 40 will become 160. 4 into 40 will become 160. And you can't change the 2 raised to 160 from here. Right? So 2 raised to 4 raised to 40 is also removed. That is also removed. So we then move to 2 raised to 5. And when we go to 2 raised to 5, that is 32. The power becomes 32. Which means that this number is basically a number of the form 32 raised to 32. And that, at this point, shows you that the value of n must be 32. It shows you that the value of n must be 32. And if n is 32, then we move on with that information that we are talking about n square plus 2 raised to n. So we are talking about the number, 32 raised to n. Sorry, n square is 32 square plus 2 raised to n, which means 2 raised to 32. We are talking about this number. And we are saying that this is an integral multiple. That means this is divisible by 2 raised to x. So the question is asking us, what is the largest value of x? What is the largest value of x? That's what the question is asking us. So in this question, when you start solving, the first thing you do is the numerator's simplification into powers of 2, because only then will you be able to see what power of 2 is dividing it. The 32 square but can be rewritten as 2 raised to 10. And the 2 raised to 32 can be kept as it is outside. And this can then be written as 2 raised to 10 common into this pen on PowerPoint is playing truant with me. So let me rewrite that again. This can be written as 2 raised to 10 which can be taken common into 1 plus 2 raised to 22. Now, if I am trying to divide this kind of an expression by 2 raised to x, then it's very clear that the largest power of 2 that divides this would be when I take x as 10. That's the largest power of 2 that divides this. And hence, the largest possible x in this question is indeed 10. So that was the next question. And then another interesting question, question 18 here. Try this question. Another pretty interesting question to solve. So, were you able to do this? Let's see the question. The question says there are two drums, each containing a mixture of paints A and B. In drum A1, A and B are in the ratio 18:7. So in drum 1, A and B are in the ratio 18:7. Right? While drum 2, if you notice at this point, drum 2 is not talked about. Then the question says the mixtures from drum 1 and 2 are mixed in the ratio 3:4. So you're taking 3 parts from the first drum and you're taking 4 parts from the second drum. Three parts from the first drum and 4 parts from the second drum. And this final mixture, A and B are in the ratio 13:7. So when you mix them in 3:4 ratio, you get A and B in the ratio 13:7. So they are asking us this question, very question is what was the ratio in drum 2? Now this is another question where if you go through variables and algebra, you will get stuck badly. You'll get stuck very badly in this question. And this happens all the time about in CAT. You really can't be always dependent on algebra all the time. Because if you start using algebra and you say x is to y is the ratio of this, then you can see that the algebraic expression will become very, very complicated. The algebraic expression will become something like 3 parts, so 18/25 into 3 plus x upon x plus y. These are the fractions of quantity A. This should be plus, not into. X upon x plus y into 4 divided by 7 gives you 13/20. Now how do you convert that expression? In how many steps do you convert that expression to an x by y is equal to some value? You can imagine x by y is one of these options. Getting that to this point, you can imagine how much time that is going to take. Right? And how much writing is going to take, more importantly. Right? Or even if you find x upon x plus y, you can do this. So if you try this from here, you take the 7 to that side. So this becomes equal to 91/20. And then if you subtract this part from it, that means you're subtracting 54/25 from it. This whole thing is equal to 4 times x upon x plus y. So of course you don't need to get to a ratio of x and y. Even if you can find the ratio of x upon x plus y, you can perceive the ratio upon x plus of x by y. So this is going to get tedious now, messy, because you have to now start calculating this. So taking the LCM of 20 and 25 is 100. The left hand side will be a denominator of 100. The left hand side will be a denominator of 100, and this gets multiplied by 5, and 54 gets multiplied by 4. So you get 445 minus 216 upon 100. So this value ends up as 29 by 100. 200 and sorry, this is 455. This value becomes 455 minus 216, which is 239 by 100. But you can see the tediousness of the solution. Compare it to the solution I'll show you now. And then you bring this 4 on the downside to the left hand side of the equation. So this will become 239 by 400. So the answer would be 239 is to 161. Now the first problem in this is perceiving this, that this is what is happening. A lot of people I see face a lot of problems in alligation and averages to understand situations where alligation or weighted averages applies. So this was a weighted average situation, and that's something you should be able to see. Right? So this was what I think is a messy solution of this. Let me show you a simpler, faster solution. Maybe not simpler because you need to perceive this. And that perception is that when you have 18:7 here, it means that you have 72% in mixture 1. You have 72% of A. While in the final mixture, you have 65% of A. And you're mixing 72%, 3 parts of it, with an unknown percent, which obviously will be below 65, with an unknown percent, 4 parts of it, and getting an outcome of 65%. So if you put that on an alligation straight line, what you will see is that you're mixing 72% A with an unknown percent of A in the ratio 4:3. And the net outcome you're getting is 65%. So using unitary method, as we know that in alligation, the weights and the distances they account for are crossed to each other. So we see using unitary method that 4 corresponds to 7. 4 corresponds to 7. So 3 will correspond to what? And that what will be 3 into 7, 21 by 4, which is 5.25. Which means that this distance here is 5.25. And that takes us to 59.75. And if you check the percentages here, That takes you to 59.75. And if you check the percentages here, so what you realize is that this final percentage is 59.75%. And if you check which of these 239 by 400, 220 by 369, 229 by 370, and 251 by 414, which of these gives us 59.75%, you realize that it's only the option 1. So you can see that in this case, the amount of writing, this whole thing is visual. So, and in the previous process, you can't do this. If you do it with that previous process, then this is going to take you at least minimum. If you're going to do this through this, the writing time of this, forget the thinking and the solving time, the writing time of this, if I ask you to just copy this solution without thinking anything, that will give you the writing time of this. So the writing time of the solution would be close to what? 1.5 minutes at least, right? So 1.5 minutes of writing time here, but if you look at this solving, in this question, you realize that the solving this is 15-20 seconds. This whole process is not more than 15-20 seconds if you are good with your allegations. And if you have read 18 by 7 as 72% in the first place, which you should do, you should be very interchangeable. If you want to crack this exam, the CAT, you should be very interchangeable between you should be very interchangeable between fractions and percentages. You should not be stuck on either one side, be it fractions or percentages. Right? So we have time for one last question. Let's try to do this. So let's do this together because we don't have too much time to give you to solve and then solve myself. So let's do this together. So the question here says Ramesh and Ganesh can together complete a work in 16 days. So the first thinking here in this question is if I take Ramesh's work as R, 1 day's work as R, and Ganesh's 1 day's work as G. So first thinking in this question is R plus G into 16 is the work. This is the total work. Right? Then the question says after 7 days of working together. So stop here. The work done is R plus G into 7. This is the work done. So the work left is R plus G into 9. This is the work left. Now what the question is telling us is that Ramesh got sick after 7 days and his efficiency fell by 30%. Now if Ramesh's efficiency fell by 30%, the rate of work will go down to 0.7 hour plus G. Ganesh's work has not come down. And as a result, they finished the work in 17 days instead of 16. That means this work gets done in 10 days. So the work left for R and G it was 9 days, but for 0.7 R and G it is 10 days. And these two will be equal because the work gets completed in both ways. So if you solve this, you will get G on the right hand side is equal to 2R on the left hand side. So the moment you get G is equal to 2R, and the question is saying that if Ganesh had worked alone after Ramesh got sick, in how many days would he have completed the remaining work? If Ganesh had worked alone after Ramesh got sick, in how many days would he have completed the remaining work? तो इसको अगर देखोगे तो what you will see is that if you replace R by G by 2, right? If you replace R by G by 2, so if Ramesh's value is G by 2 and G is G itself, and the work is worth 9 days for R plus G, which means the work is worth 9 days for G by 2 plus G, and G by 2 plus G will be 1.5 G because G by 2 is 0.5 G, G by 2 is 0.5 G and G is G itself. So the work left is 1.5 G into 9. So the work left in this case is going to be 13.5 G. This is what you had to execute in the problem to get the answer. That means that Ganesh will take 13.5 days to complete the work. So in how many days would he have completed the work working alone? It's going to be 13.5. Right? So again, if you see this question again, you just need to be able to understand the structures of the question, the structures of the equation. The better you understand the variables and what's happening to the variables, the better you will be in solving these questions. So the key learning in CAT 2018 is complete control of the variables and the expressions and the equations connecting the variables. The more control you have on the questions and the equations connecting the variables, the better you're going to become at solving CAT questions. And of course, along with that, you have to get your numericals into place also. Your thinking on numbers into place also. So that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I will wind up now. And we'll come back with more very soon on this channel. Please you leave your comments and your feedback for us, and we would love to answer some of them for you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye everyone.